Hey, this is John Natale, and I want to teach you on another lesson today on In the Grasp of a Holy God, coming out of our manual, Voices in the Wilderness, School of the Prophets, Listen, Learn, Obey. This chapter is about an individual named Jacob, and In the Grasp of a Holy God was dropped into my spirit about an individual so desperate for a breakthrough in his life that he literally wrestles with God and wrestles with Him all night long until he experiences his breakthrough. I want to share with you a little bit from the book. Here's one of the greatest examples of an individual so desperate for a breakthrough that he's willing to go to the uttermost extreme. Let's look at the beginning of why Jacob is wrestling. Everything that happened, everything that was happening in his life had been leading to this one critical encounter. By name and nature, Jacob has for a long time walked the road of his own choosing, the road of self-will, and the road of his own strength and resources. Now that road leads past the Jabbok River, a name that means wrestling. Jacob places his wives, servants, and company over across the Jabbok River to the south side, and he sets himself on another part. Completely alone with his doubts and fears, Jacob was set for his encounter with God. And this is the night of his struggle. And Jacob would wrestle in prayer and actually end up in a match that he would never imagine. By morning's light, Jacob would leave a changed man with a new identity, a renewed destiny, and a new outlook on life. Have you ever considered going after God and wrestling with Him? To me, that's it. When I think about it, it's pretty amazing that God even allowed him to wrestle with Him. But it was God Himself that wanted to wrestle with him. And what's so cool is, we have our encounters with God, we have our intimacy with God, we've felt the presence of God, but this man actually wrestled with God. That's to me is just an amazing honor that God would want to wrestle with this man, and waited for him, and it was set up for him. See, even when he crossed the river, the river itself means wrestling. The Jabbok means wrestling. So it's God's personality is so cool because He makes him cross the river that He's already setting up for this scenario. But you know what? Even though in the midst of his doubt and his fears, we know what was going on with his brother, he thought his brother was going to kill him. It's like everyday life with you and me, everyday life with everyone around us. He's dealing with stuff, he's dealing with fear, he's dealing with some doubt, he's dealing with some frustration. And you know what? He has destiny over him as well. We know about what took place with his family and his bloodline, of what he dealt with and what his father dealt with. But it never changes, it just continues. But here's a man that gets to the point in his life where he realized that I've got to have a significant breakthrough, and he did something that was bizarre. He wrestled with God and he says, I'm not letting you go until you bless me. And think about this now. This is just a man that is holding on to God and is saying, I'm not letting you go. And there's no way physically possible that he could hold on to God. We know the Lord, the strength of God, but the Lord is allowing him to hold on to Him. It's not Jacob saying, I'm not letting you go. It's God saying, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in your grasp until I bless you. But I want you to get to that point where you get so desperate, where you make that statement and say, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. And Jacob gets to that place. He recognizes that. He gets to that place of desperation, says, I'm going to get it. Today I'm going to get it. Because it was set up before the foundations of the earth, before the foundations of the world, at that Kairos moment of time where he's all alone. You ever notice that? It's in your time of when you're alone. It's not when you're around people. It's not when man is feeding you with encouragement or giving you what you need. It's when you're alone with God, and that's when you get what you need to get. Is when you're alone with God and you wrestle with Him and you fight for it and you contend, and at that critical moment, all of a sudden, the blessing is released. So today, I want you to think about that. Today, I want you to get your hands on this chapter in this book. Listen, learn, obey. In the grasp of a holy God, and experience what Jacob experienced, because you know what? You just might get what you're contending for.